你是干么的？你怎么把口罩戴着来？
你是么跟我说话？
口罩戴了，口罩戴了，口罩戴了，要不要口罩？
我这就老过。
要不要口罩？
我口罩我吃饭带哪个回小男的小男的干？
你去哪里在？
我去哪里摸你查户口？
你去哪里在？你现在要回家，现在是武汉市事情封闭式管理。
我看到你们在扯皮。
你要把口罩戴了。
怎么老百姓马上没得饭吃？你们晓得我肚子？怎么银行已经不管享了，工资都发不出来？
你是干么事的？把口罩摆过来。
我是盲人手这里。
你们要不要口罩？
我要口罩，
把口罩戴了来。
能不能我吃饭带哪个男的行？你莫说要这个滚了，你妈的，谁那个不敢骂瞎子？你们要找我把我们星光盲人手都找搞来。
没得人骂你，没得人骂你。
我说要我滚的。
没得哪个要你滚，你把口罩戴着。
说实话，你没得炫耀我。
来，你把口罩戴着来。来，口罩戴着来。
我要口罩捅了的，我捅。
非工作人员不得上街。各位居民群众，非工作人员不得上街，上街必在理。各位居民群众，非工。走！1、2、3、4。上街必在理。各位居民群众，非工作人员不得上街。1、2、3、4。各位居民群众，非工作人员不得上街，上街必在理。各位居民群众，非工作人员不得上街。1、2、3、4。
这边好点吗？你看片子情况好不好？
啊？
你看不是破了片子吗？怎么样？
哪个？破？
啊？
怎么样啊？
你看不是之前我看你还拿到片子了吗？
啊？
你还没有破片子吗？
破了啊？
怎么样？
双倍感染的。
双倍感染？没有让你们拘进去啊？
我这个走，还进去。我叫他做一个那个，他一直到昨天才开始做那个
核酸检测。 结果去了吗？
结果嘛去了。
但是你看片子已经显示双肺感染了。你要赶紧去买药哦，该去买药去买药哟。
我搞几千块钱买药。
哎。
他找了核酸就不需要自己出现的，但是他始终就是不给你做。
哦。
你看做了你报上去了。昨天我自己跑到乐医院找个人才能做。
这个鸡巴！
啊，我到哪去了？
加大传播真相的力度，我们要拯救在水深火热的湖北的武汉的同胞们，我们要再把国内的所有有关疫情的真实声音发到国际上来，做好准备，没有共产党的新中国的以后什么样？
感谢，有幸能联系到您，只有这里能发出我的声音。求救！求救！求救！向法治基金求救，向美国政府求救，向世界所有正义力量求救。湖北孝感现在到了封闭每户家门的地步，相信此举还在继续扩展至更多省市。我们住在乡村，我们不是染病的人，也没有出现任何病症，政府竟然派了带枪的警察联合村里的共产党员把我们的家门封了，是从门外钉上厚厚的木板封住的。现在我们连走出家门的权利都没有，这已经是在剥夺我们生存的权利。我们不能言语、谈论或说出事实，不能行走，家门都不准出，不能获得食物，不准外出购买食物，也不能有任何反抗。他们拿枪口对准我们。我家现在仅剩3-5天的大米了，家里虽然有稻谷，却无法外出碾米，菜也没有，门前种有菜，却无法出门采摘。家里有年迈的父母和还在小学阶段的孩子，等待我们的即将是死亡。现在所有人都清楚了这个政党的目的，他们没有能力控制病毒，他们如此简单粗暴的封城的目的，也不是为了控制病毒，而是为了控制宣传的数据，更是为了实现他们一箭多雕的目的，消灭他们管理不过来的人口，减少他们对社会的支持、养老、医疗等等，无偿回收百姓的资产、土地、房屋、存款，实现他们所谓的2020彻底脱贫。这是中国底层百姓的求救之声。如果后续我不再联系您，那很可能是我不能再发声了。文贵、路德和您以及爆料团队是我们中国仅存的一线希望，还有班农先生以及美国团队是我们的心底之友，感谢你们。
2020年全国普通高校毕业生874万，同比增加40万人。综合考虑经济下行压力和疫情叠加的影响，预计今年上半年高校毕业生就业面临的形势将更加复杂。
操你妈妈的！这不行，这逼呀！
你再骂一个，你再骂一个！
操你妈！
别让我
操你妈！
别了，
我们
是不非常
看
政府说什么？
你干啥呢？你
干啥呢？你告诉我你干啥呢？我上班我没有可以啊。
我在执行我的工作。
你在执行你的工作可以，但我告诉你政府有文件，看病是可以的。
看病可以的，看病可以。
一个证件就吃一个。
你
要是往网上下发，我就告诉你，你们社区怎么做啊？来，咱们一样录，工作来
你录可以。
谁呢？
可以录，来录。
我一个孕妇可以做产检，让我自己一个人去啊？
做产检不是？
我一个孕妇让我自己一个人去啊？
你们有没有理？推我们，推我怎么了？
你咋推我怎么了？
你干啥？
你先推着我吧，是不是先推着我？不，谁先推的谁啊？这几个人推着我，你别骂别人，这是我。等着，我这个就是社区负责人，我一个孕妇，我要出院让我自己一个人去。坐车直接走。
你领呐！你解决问题的时候，你不考虑老百姓的实际困难，是吧？老百姓吃菜呀、吃米呀，你都不解决，你光给别人拦着我，你干什么？你拦着你在那还生不起人，我怕你领导啊！你我不吃饭了，不吃菜呀！你起码来说，你要解决这个问题的话，你要把这个问题解决，这个问题还有什么困难？你要把这个问题困难，你第一就要考虑到这里面的老百姓的生存问题，你生存问题都不考虑，你把别人关到我里干什么？
带签是不是？对。带签，你们现在准备行李去指定的酒店去住14天。
你等会儿啊。比如说我9号坐飞机过来是吧？然后我落地的时候，他没有说他量体温，没有强制要隔离什么的。武汉的是必须要隔离的。然后我们这边，你们来到这边是归我们这边的管，懂了没有？我知道，归你们这，那肯定是统一的政策，对不对？那我9号的时候你们怎么不通知我呢？我们又不在我们辖区，你在机场嘛，对不对？对，那么机场是不属于我们辖区嘛？那么你那边不是你这个合法的居住地嘛？那我现在这边才是你的一个合法居住地嘛？我现在已经在家已经快10天了。在10天也要，反正是你必须要根据这个去大理市的这个去。我有没有发烧？你有没有量？我们不量，你们去那边专门会有个接受隔离的，会有帮你量的，每天都会上报。还有就是你们这个政策什么时候开始的？发生疫情就开始了，根据大理市的6号公告跟8号公告，现在已经出到9号公告了。那我飞大理之前，你们是不是应该？你是不是录下了？对，是不是应该发个消息给我？我这几个人被挂掉。好。
给你喝点，你不听吗？哎呀，我是，哎呦。生气！
事件应依条例有关规定，对出现确诊病例或疑似病例1人封单元，立即采取疫区封锁、限制人员聚集等措施。
你小心，一吻便顛倒眾生，一吻便教一個人，給你拯救的體温。
警告警告！繼早前39歲黃埔男人死喺中國肺炎之下，呢隻病毒再殺一個香港人，令香港合共有2單死亡 case。新嗰單係第55宗確診個案，一個有腎病嘅70歲伯伯，獨居葵涌石梨2村，今個月12號喺屋企跌親，送去醫院發現有發燒，佢自己亦都話月頭已經有氣促同咳，但冇講到點解唔即時睇醫生，又冇提到自己上個月22號即日來回中國。到之後確診中國肺炎，送佢去醫院嘅3個救護員同2個消防員要即時隔離，而佢自己就情況危殆，送去 ICU 插喉。可惜病情惡化，去到星期3離世，死因會由死因庭跟進。
差人就有口罩，市民都冇口罩，我覺得政府不知所謂啊！
フリマアプリ大手のメルカリは、東京六本木の本社で働く人を対象に、原則として自宅などでのテレワークとすることを決めました。国内海外を問わず出張を禁止し、社内や社外の会議のほか採用の面接についても原則オンラインで実施することにしています。こうした対応は今日から今月28日までとし、その後は状況を見て判断するとしています。日本生命は 今月24日に東京丸の内で開催予定だった学生向けのインターンシップを中止することを決めました。およそ1000人の学生が参加を予定していたということです。一方、ソニーや富士通は社員にラッシュを避ける時差通勤を進めたり、テレワークの積極的な活用を呼びかけたりしていて、企業活動への影響が一段と深まっています。
200 Australians will board a flight home after 2 weeks quarantined on the coronavirus cruise ship. They face another fortnight in isolation, while the Japanese government has made the stunning decision to release 1,000 others onto the streets. Chris O'Keefe reports.
Free from what feels like a bad experiment. Thousands of passengers who dodged the disease were allowed off the coronavirus cruise ship.
We're leaving now.
A risky move given another 88 cases were confirmed overnight, the virus infecting almost 550 in total. This Japanese infectious diseases expert has worked on Ebola and SARS, but when he boarded the Diamond Princess, he couldn't believe what he saw.
The cruise ship was completely inadequate in terms of the infection control. Everywhere could have virus and everybody was not careful about it.
But no further quarantine for the 1,000 people they're letting off this ship in the coming days. This is a brave call by the Japanese government, who have failed to contain the coronavirus crisis on board the Diamond Princess. Now they face the prospect of meeting it right here in the streets.
South Korea says North Korea has cancelled the annual assembly for the first time over the new coronavirus. The South's unification minister, Kim Yon-chol, informed lawmakers on Tuesday. The North is believed to have held the assembly on February 15th since 1995 to commemorate the country's late leader Kim Jong-il, whose birthday was February 16th. The minister said South Korea considers inter-Korean cooperation is needed to fight the outbreak. He indicated the government will work with the private sector by taking account of the situations in the country and its neighbor. The minister said Pyongyang has tested about 140 foreign visitors with high fevers, and none of them had the coronavirus. He added North Korean officials asked the World Health Organization to make this information public.
Joining me now exclusively, Republican Senator Tom Cotton, a member of the Intelligence Committee. Senator, thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening, Martha.
Good evening. So what really caught everyone's attention was when you said, we also know that just a few miles away from that food market is China's only biosafety level 4 super laboratory that researches human infectious diseases. So what were you suggesting by saying that that laboratory is only 4 miles from the market? What did you mean?
Martha, I'm suggesting that we need to be open to all possibilities, and we need to demand that China open up and be transparent so a team of international experts can figure out exactly where this virus originated. We know it didn't originate in the Wuhan food market based on the study of Chinese scientists published in The Lancet, a respected international science journal. Now, I'm not saying where it started. I don't know. One reason we don't know is because the Chinese Communist Party won't open up to international experts. That's what they need to do so we can get to the bottom of where this virus originated and hopefully get an effective diagnostic test and vaccine for it.
So you have, other different professors, one of them of chemical biology at Rutgers, saying that there's nothing in the genome sequence of this virus that indicates that it was engineered. And then you have, critics, Chris Cillizza, for one, at CNN, saying that it was the height of irresponsibility from a public official to make the contention that you made. What do you say to them?
Well, let's take the Rutgers professor, Richard Ebright. He was the main expert in the Washington Post story you cited earlier. Yeah. Well, in fact, today he was cited in the Asia Times saying that it is quite possible that it was a laboratory incident. Again, that's not saying that this was a bioweapon, but we do know they were investigating and researching coronaviruses in that laboratory. It could have been an accidental breach. It could have been a worker that was infected. My point, Martha, is that we don't know, and until we get all the evidence from the Chinese Communist Party, It is only responsible, not irresponsible, to keep an open mind about all hypotheses.
So it's interesting that today the State Department announced that 5 Chinese media outlets will now not be considered media outlets, but foreign missions. We're going to put the names of those up on the screen for you. What does that tell you? You know, and it does go to the point that you're making, that the information that we're getting is very difficult to verify.
Well, it tells you that the Chinese Communist Party, just like any Communist Party, has a widespread propaganda effort. And regrettably, the Washington Post and New York Times, 2 of the outlets that you cited earlier, have taken millions and millions of dollars from something called China Daily to run so-called inserts that purport to be news, but in reality are Chinese propaganda. They ought not be doing that.
And that is one of the named entities, right? China Daily Distribution Corporation?
China Daily has spent tens of millions of dollars putting what appear to be news inserts into the Washington Post and the New York Times, yet they are paid propaganda of the Chinese Communist Party.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you assume that those contracts would end, that we would no longer see those inserts now that the State Department has declared these media outlets to be foreign missions and not reporting outlets?
Yeah. I would certainly hope so, Martha. And in fact, I wrote to the Department of Justice and Attorney General Barr just a few weeks ago asking them to examine these inserts and whether or not they ought to be registered under the Foreign Agent Registration Act.
Good idea. Senator Tom Cotton, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight, sir.
Thanks, Martha.
You bet.
First tonight, there are serious long-term problems facing America, as we've told you about for years on this show. Thanks to outsourcing, this country no longer has the same reserve of stable middle-class manufacturing jobs we did even 30 years ago. In coastal cities, housing has become astronomically expensive. Prices are rising far quicker than wage growth. And most tragically, an opioid epidemic kills tens of thousands of Americans every year. One of the chief reasons for that is a synthetic opioid called fentanyl. It's smuggled in from abroad. Now, these might seem like unrelated problems, but they're not. A single theme unites them. A systematic decision by many of our country's most powerful leaders to sell out America to China. Those jobs that were outsourced, they went to China. Those rising home prices, all cash Chinese buyers are a major contributor to that, though it's almost never said out loud. Fentanyl, made in China, with the knowledge and tacit approval of the Chinese Communist Party. China is no longer simply an economic rival to the United States. It's becoming a dangerous enemy. But instead of protecting us from this threat, an existential one, our leadership class collaborates with the other side. Why do they do that? Simple, they're getting rich from it. This only became clear to many people a few months ago when the most American of all sports, professional basketball, a game literally invented in a gym in Springfield, Massachusetts, ripped off the mask and showed the world who really controls the league. NBA General Manager Daryl Morey, you'll remember, wrote a tweet supporting pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong. In the resulting backlash, the NBA and Morey both apologized for daring to criticize China's fascist regime. And then LeBron James weighed in and explained to us that actually freedom of speech in America is vastly overrated.
So many people could have been harmed, not only financially, but physically, emotionally, spiritually. So just be careful what we tweet and we say and what we do, even though, yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that, too.
Just be careful with what you tweet or say, because the Chinese are watching and they pay the bills. Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr, meanwhile, explained that there's really no moral difference between America and communist China.
It has not come up in terms of people asking me about it, people discussing it. No. Nor has our record of human rights abuses come up either. People in China didn't ask me about, people owning AR-15s and mowing each other down in a mall.
Yeah, so America has school shootings. China is on its third or fourth genocide since World War II. You know, tomato, tomato. 6 dozen 1, whatever. Yeah. Saying something like that out loud should be shocking, but it's not really. It's a taste of just how completely the people in charge identify with China over this country. In some cases, they've literally joined China's payroll. Former Illinois Senator Mark Kirk, for example, is a registered foreign agent who lobbies for the China-U.S. Exchange Foundation. That's a Chinese organization with ties to the Communist Party, a former senator. Former Senator Joe Lieberman works for another Chinese company, ZTE. What's ZTE? Well, ZTE is so dangerous to American interests that last August the president signed a bill banning the federal government from using that company's equipment because it's too threatening. But he's lobbying for him. Former Congressman Rick Boucher, meanwhile, has lobbied for a whole list of Chinese companies, including Hikvision, Huawei, and the search engine Baidu. But China isn't content buying off our retired lawmakers. They're also targeting people who have jobs that matter right now. Last night on this program, we told you about a man called Yu Meng. He's the chief investment officer at California's massive state-run pension fund called CalPERS. Meng, who was born in China and moved here at the age of 25, previously ran China's $3 trillion portfolio of foreign investments. CalPERS has long engaged in shareholder activism to advance left-wing causes in this country, like gun control, and been very aggressive about it. But now the fund also supports China's efforts to eclipse America. CalPERS invests in companies that supply the Chinese military, literally. They're also invested in Hikvision, which makes the surveillance equipment that China uses to monitor ethnic minorities like the Uyghurs. So they're actively abetting fascism. There's nothing harmless about these investments. As Yu Meng himself once noted, quote, "Of course it empowers the Chinese regime to have the money flowing in," end quote. Of course it does, but they did it anyway. When Meng worked for China's investment fund, he was recruited by the 1,000 Talents Initiative. That's a Chinese program designed to encourage foreign businessmen, scientists, and other experts to work on China's behalf, often secretly. The explicit goal is to obtain Western technology and research for China's own use, so they can surpass us, which they are. Last month, Harvard chemistry professor Charles Lieber, the head of the department, was arrested for hiding his work on behalf of China. In effect, Lieber was working as a spy. But his case isn't special. The entire sleazy academic world, and it's one of the sleaziest, is addicted to Chinese money. Harvard and Yale both stand accused of hiding hundreds of millions in donations from payments from foreign countries. Needless to say, China is one of the top contributors. Recently, the Texas A&M University system tried to gauge how many of its faculty were getting Chinese money. More than 100 of them had been recruited, it turns out, but only 5 had reported their work for a hostile foreign government. How many were indicted? You guess. Oh, yeah, 0. Now, Chinese officials aren't paying these academics because they love scholarship. No. America's universities are key centers of scientific research and technical innovation. China would like to steal that information, and they are. As of tonight, the FBI is investigating more than 1,000 cases in which they believe China has stolen research from American firms. If anything, our top colleges and universities are encouraging this to happen. And you can see it by the way they recruit. Chinese grad students fill our research labs. This makes college administrators much richer, but it also allows the Chinese government easy access to critical information, some of it that directly bears on our national security. American academics have made it clear whose side they're on. Last November, officials at the University of Missouri, Kansas City removed an artistic display supporting protesters in Hong Kong because Chinese students complained. According to the New Republic, Columbia University's Global Center in Beijing canceled talks because they might upset Chinese officials. They're squelching free speech at the direction of communist China. And that's common in the business world. Disney changed its Tibetan character in one of its movies into a European woman because acknowledging Tibet's existence would anger their masters in China. They should be ashamed. Gap apologized for selling a T-shirt in Canada that didn't feature Taiwan as part of China. By the way, it's not part of China. But China demanded that Gap pretend it is, and they complied. We could go on. There are endless examples of this kind of thing. It's happening all around us. So how about Michael Bloomberg? He's running for president. Maybe more than anyone in America, Bloomberg represents the beliefs and values of our current aristocracy, which is by far the worst in American history, the stupidest, the most greedy. Not surprisingly, Bloomberg has both kowtowed to the Chinese and gotten rich from the Chinese. He's not embarrassed by it. In 2014, Bloomberg explained that actually, China's unelected leader isn't really a dictator.
The Communist Party wants to stay in power in China, and they listen to the public. When the public says, I can't breathe the air, Xi Jinping is not a dictator. He has to satisfy his constituents, or he's not going to survive.
He's not a dictator?
No, he has a constituency to answer to.
So the Chinese dictator is not a dictator. It makes you wonder how Michael Bloomberg would govern as president, or maybe it explains how he'd govern as president. But Bloomberg's personal admiration for the bloodthirsty fossil in charge of the world's largest communist country isn't the only reason he likes China. There's big money at stake, of course. That's always what it's about. Bloomberg's company has enormous investments in the country, and that has influenced how Bloomberg News reports on China. In 2013, for example, Bloomberg News was accused of killing stories that would have revealed corruption by family members of the Chinese dictator. And yes, he is a dictator. Ben Richardson, Bloomberg's Asia editor, later said he'd been told directly by leaders at his company that covering the Chinese Politburo was off limits. That's like telling a Washington bureau chief you can't cover Congress because you might insult them. That's Michael Bloomberg's position. Just today, former Bloomberg reporter Lita Hong Fincher wrote in The Intercept about how Bloomberg's lawyers threatened to destroy her life if she wouldn't sign a non-disclosure agreement about the company's censorship practices. But don't take their word for it. A few years ago, Bloomberg openly admitted that he let China censor his company's news. He actually said that on television. Here it is.
Over the past year, there's been questions about the journalism going on in China and whether the company, in its effort to grow, has muzzled.
In China, they have rules about what you can publish. We follow those rules. If you don't follow the rules, you're not in the country. We write the stories that we think are interesting, and we distribute them where they are allowed to be distributed.
Where they're allowed to be distributed. The scariest part is that as China has grown more powerful, America has grown more dependent on it. Outsourcing our manufacturing power brought American companies big short-term profits. Head to Florida and you'll see the houses they built with those profits. But in the long run, that decision made this country dangerously dependent on a nation that seeks to displace us on the world stage. Consider just one small sector of the American economy, medical supplies. China is now a top producer of antibiotics, surgical tools, prescription drug ingredients, face masks, and many more essential products that you need to stay alive. 80% of our antibiotics right now come from China. Hard to believe, but true. The coronavirus panic alone was enough to cause shortages of some of these materials. What'll happen if an even bigger crisis comes along, as it inevitably will? Or what if China simply cuts off exports as a show of force? That could happen. Maybe they invade Taiwan and then cut off exports. How do we respond? We'd be helpless. The saddest and most infuriating part is that none of this needed to happen in the first place. China didn't just one day magically overtake us. Our leaders made that possible. They abetted it. They profited from it. They betrayed us.
There's so much happening in China, and I really want to thank Miles Guo and the team here at Guo Media and at G News that are help us set up this remote broadcast today. We have a lot to talk about. There's a tremendous amount of news coming out of China today on the in Wuhan, particularly as the pandemic even gets worse. Now we've got different numbers from all over the world. You've got different organizations that are trying to give their assessments of where all this is going as far as this pandemic goes. It shows the terrible conditions in Wuhan, and it shows what's happening with the Chinese citizens. So I want to thank everybody today. Dr. Hatfield, I want to thank you down in our headquarters of the War Room in Washington, D.C. I want to just show you today on the Financial Times of London leads with about Apple's factories not being able to open up. Citizens that went home into the interior from southern China, Shenzhen, and other areas where the factories are not allowed now to come back. There's many blockades. They've got to do many tests. People don't want this virus to spread. And so, Miles, before we get to and talk about some of the activity in Wuhan and some of the videos, I want you to can you give your assessment to the American people? That's because mainly on our live stream, although we go throughout the world, it's a big American audience. And
Sir Steve, today we connected before asking me about the Wuhan coronavirus is the situation. very important now. I see in the West media about, coronavirus, this in Wuhan. Nearly all this, the members and the data, all this fake.
Okay, I just want to say, because it may be a little hard for some of our people. I'm used to your English, and it's very excellent, but I want to say, you're saying that all the information put up by the CCP on the number of sick and the number of dead is all fake?
Yes.
So right now they have said about 70,000, 75,000. We got Jack Maxey here from the War Room, is now remote. He's actually here at the Himalayan Embassy today. Thank you, Jack, Dr. Hatfield. But the official number is about 70,000, and I think there's 2,500 dead, Jack, is there roughly?
Just over 2,000.
Just over 2,000 dead. And that number, as Dr. Hatfield has been laughing about all week, it stays exactly at 2.1%. It never changes, right? It's like Chinese GDP, right? It's always 8%, right, or whatever the number is. Are you saying that the CCP is purposely putting out fake numbers, or just the way they calculate it is not accurate?
100% right, sir. Now it's the CCP put out about this, the data and the members, is the listen to central government. This political data and the member, not the truth. You see how entirely China, I think now is more than 5 million effect. Minority rate, I think now is 250,000 people die. Go to some crematory. It's a cremation. This is real truth. I think so.
Okay, let me just reset. Yeah. Okay, so right now we know we have in Hubei province, there's essentially 80 million to 100 million people under quarantine. Right? That's what they're saying.
Yes.
And there's another 400 or 500 million throughout the country in lockdown. Right? In some sort of lockdown, not quarantine, where the city's not quarantined, but the city is basically locked down, so people can't come back and forth?
Not it is, sir. All the Hubei province is the 60 million people is get quarantine. It's all the Wuhan city is 11 million people get quarantine. All the entire China, 80% the area is get quarantine, is locked down. So now it's 1 billion more people get quarantine, is locked down. So these are true numbers. But also, it's the infected people, they say 70,000, this is totally fake. This is not true numbers. I think now more than 4 million people is get effect.
How do you, when you say there could be 3 or 4 million people actually infected, how do you derive that? People in China tell you?
Transmission rate.
Okay.
This
transmission rate.
Transmission rate. It's impossible. It's just 70,000. It just talk to Wuhan. Very simple, sir. Why they believe the members don't want the WHO and from America, some people can go to Wuhan, say something. Also cannot go to Chongqing.
Okay, let me
Shanghai.
Let me talk about that for a second. The United States, President Trump, and Dr. Hatfield, jump in here. Yep. We have offered to send the CDC, right? The World Health Organization has offered to send the World Health Organization. Dr. Gabriel Leung in Hong Kong University has volunteered to go and help the virus hunting. We know that the CCP has said, has not allowed that until the last couple of days. They've allowed a preliminary team from the WHO to go to Beijing. But they're only allowed to review the data that the CCP is giving them, correct? They will not let anybody go into Wuhan. Why is that?
They want to cover the truth. They don't want the people to see the truth. They worry some of the whistleblower tell them the truth. This is the fundamental reason. This is why I see very bad West side, America, all the people trust all the is the from CCP government put out the data. This is totally wrong. This is big trouble. Even America, all the Europe, West side, rest of the world trust this the data. America and the world get a big trouble again.
I just left a meeting with, I can't name who I met with, but I met with one of the most prominent people in Hong Kong, and a very good person, known throughout the world as a very good person. And he told me in Hong Kong it's 10 to 20 times bigger. The infections are 10 to 20 times bigger than Carrie Lam and the Hong Kong government are putting out. That the virus is much spread there. The shops are all closed. There's no food on the shelves or anything like that. So it's much worse than it's being portrayed. Now,
复工的事儿啊，我给大家说一下。共产党内部做出了三个必选题，啊，要选第一条，如何在世界上解释这个真正的病毒的来源？大家知道了，要把外交战场和疫情战场拉到国际上去。刚才我说第一个问题，第二个问题，如何保证共产党的生命线，上海股票、深圳股票、香港股票、金融市场不崩塌？说了，所以说怎么保？电脑控制，王岐山的小手，杨洁篪、杨娘娘的外交手段，然后对所有的大家进行威胁恐吓，不允许卖，只允许买，就是以假成经济，以杨娘娘的外交来转移视线。所以说他们说那必须要复工，说死人怎么办？说你不复工也是死，复工也是死，干嘛不让复工死？还有一机会，决定部分区域、部分领域复工，所以说大部分要复工，一定会的，是不是灾难？一定是灾难。共产党现在已经不是要杀掉你了，就是杀掉你。民告诉你，你现在就是拿着枪顶着你脑袋，你得给我继续生产财富，让我活下去。这是第二条参与。外交有杨洁篪、杨娘娘在海外打国际战，造假、沉默力量、媒体战，你们就看到了《纽约时报》了。接下来的各国都会开始，最大的对象就关掉 G News、路德访谈，还有 War Room 万农先生、比尔·戈尔斯，然后国内大部分复工，然后呢就保持就我说的3.0差那0.3的股票市场、金融市场不能停摆，然后人民币已经允许人民币要往下跌到7.5、7.8，甚至8都是可以的这是已经说利用好这个机会，把人民币现在要叫它跌，要叫它跌下去，给美国颜色看经济账，这就是让美国西方被绑架的感觉，让他感到痛然后你要听我的话。第三个，国内政治方面马上开始一系列的政治的所谓的新政策民主法治自由等等等等，包括对经济人士、私人企业家进行新的一个定力、新的松绑这就是共产党又开始改革开放了，对港澳台胞、海外侨胞一系列的优惠免税政策，对私人企业家马上就这2天就公布免税措施什么这个负面清单这个银行这个低息贷款免贷款还是什么免税服务企业什么工资什么一系列的什么要多少条都出来了然后叫大家开始。那么这开始复工必须死人要掩盖，很多路要敞开，大家去想想，老百姓买口罩买不着，待在家里有钱也不允许买，又没人给人送吃的送喝的，然后出去戴口罩吧，出去不戴口罩吧抓起来。天下岂有此理？我买你不让我出去，我现在我在家里没饭吃，你不让我出去，我出去门不戴口罩，你抓起来我。现在说了，全部口罩打开，路打开，都去工作去吧，不管口罩的事儿了。这帮王八蛋之黑暗，这种土匪行径。武汉火葬场死了多少人？你们还相信死1000多人吗？日本的钻石号 这钻石号成了垃圾灾难号了啊！这个钻石号，大家感染率是多少？%多少？什么钻石号就倒霉吗？这么高级的设备和环境，传染率那么高，你说武汉是多少？全国是多少？绝对过几百万，死亡率绝对是几十万。就这情况下，还要全面复工，啊，这真是让正在生产的孕妇啊，继续让她跟她双休一样，继续让一个濒临死亡的人要抽干你的血是一样的。啊，不仅要挖你的器官，换你的肾，换你的肝，现在把你一切都要榨干，要维持共产党的政权继续生存。这就是为啥我说到3那个事儿，只要金融市场一关闭，他就死了。他为了不死，不到3大门打开，他让全国人民先死，就是我共产党死，我得让全国人民死干净，甚至全世界死干净。赤裸裸的威胁呀！